Welcome back to the Mandcave, the only podcast hosted by two best friends with nothing in common except their first names. I'm Mandy Kaplan.
And I'm Mandy Fabian, and usually every week we argue over movies and television, but not this time, folks. We're changing it up because everybody's in a strike. But oddly enough, the Mandys do agree on that. So grab your couch. We're going to do a quickie strike thing. Let's get to it.
Cut this shit.
Beep, 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 beep. Emergency podcast. Right?
Oh my God.
Here
that
we
was
are.
The most exciting. Like, I actually felt people leaning forward on the edges of their seats as I said those words.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very sexy time right now in Hollywood, guys. Really hot. And there's a lot of sweating and picketing and not talking about any of our projects. So in solidarity,
This will be a silent 30-minute episode starting now. Wow.
I love
it.
I love a bit that goes on. We have a game. I know we're going to get to the strike, but have I ever told you about the game that my family plays where we all fall asleep? I think I have.
I think you have. Yeah.
In airports, in lounges. And we will be asleep for 10 minutes until somebody wins. It's kind of epic. Anyway, that's not what we're doing today. Today we're talking about the strike. Yeah, we're not writing right now. We're writing, but we're not sending it to anyone.
We're striking.
Ho!
Strike.
Ho!
Ho! Wait, is music allowed? Am I allowed to? Oh.
Yeah, I think that's okay. They're not on strike.
I've got a song in my heart, always.
I know. I know musicians are not on strike because I'm going to see Taylor Swift tonight. What?
Right.
So I might be very different like next week when we begin our next episode because obviously
you will have had a transformative experience.
Yeah, she's actually been creating earthquakes. Did you know about the thing in Seattle?
Mm-mm.
Her concert registered as an actual fucking earthquake. That's how much energy was coming off that place.
Yep.
So, planning to leave that place 10 years younger, or at least act like an asshole that's 10 years younger, you know?
Sleep around.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're bringing Patrick, but he has to dress like a girl. That's the deal. It's a safe space for women, you know?
Yes.
My family did not go with the underwear idea, by the way. I had to do a sparkly jacket thing. Yeah. I wanted to put a scarf. I wanted to put big old lady panties on and shove a scarf in it and say it was the scarf in your drawer, but it was vetoed. So it's still a brilliant idea.
It's a deep cut. I didn't know it. It's a deep cut. And I forgot to loan you my granny panties that I always wear. So that's why you can't do it.
I've never seen your panties, and that seems like a crime this far into our friendship. It would have come up at some point.
You've never seen my panties?
No.
I wear like a nice cotton brief, like real coverage and support.
Oh my God.
I don't do thongs. I don't do high cut.
What?
Yeah, it is 1972 up in here all the time.
I have a tragic thong situation going on that won't let go. And I don't ever go shopping, as you know. So my thongs are like 15 years old, which is disgusting. I mean, I admit that because they don't even hold up fabric wise. Now they're just all sort of rolling over. So it's just sort of like, yeah. But
Aren't
it's
you
better.
Constantly trying to pick a wedge. That's my issue with thongs. I just feel like nothing belongs up in there all day.
Well, that's debatable. You know what I mean? I haven't taken a hand mirror to it lately, so I don't know what's going on really up there or in there. But I feel like a thong is just it's like friendly fire, you know? It's just
all right.
It becomes part of the ecosystem, and especially when you've had them for 15 years, I feel like at this point my underwear has molded to the shape of my asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the strike.
Yes.
Speaking of
assholes
molding to assholes, the AMPTP and all of the people that are making the television and movies, they have ruined the business. This is kind of we'll do the shorthand version just in case anybody doesn't know about the strike, which I think they probably do. But Netflix came along and said everybody should watch all the television for free, and we're going to do a subscriber-based thing. And then everybody else followed suit and said, Netflix is getting money from Wall Street. We should follow what they're doing because it seems to be making them billions. but they were never actually disclosing any actual numbers about whether it was making the billions. So everybody else changed their model to follow a streamer model and poured millions and billions of dollars into that, and they're still not making any money. So the business is in trouble.
Right. Well, the CEOs are making money.
Making a lot of money.
Right. But it's not they're not sharing the wealth, and it's not like everyone who works at Netflix is being supported, and their response to that is to say, well, we're struggling, so we can't pay writers a livable wage or actors a livable wage.
Right.
And I saw Emma Miles. She was on Orange is the New Black.
Mm-hmm.
When the strike started, she showed her residuals. And I guess there are some residuals for actors on Netflix. So I don't know what they're bitching about. She was a series regular with 100-something episodes and getting a $28 residual check that she's supposed to live off of. Right. So she's saying, I get stopped on the streets of New York every day.
Mm-hmm.
Love you on the show. You're on TV every day. You're a big TV actor.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't make ends meet.
And my understanding is that what SAG, because SAG is also on strike, not just the WJ, but what SAG is asking for is actually success-based residuals, right? So if your show is a massive hit, like Orange is the New Black, or Better Call Saul, for example, then you would get a residual that's commensurate to how your show is performing. So if it's a flop, nobody wins.
Complete sense.
And it's how it was all structured back when advertisers were paying for the show. There was an accountability. You had to say, well, this many people are watching the show this week, so that's why this ad space costs this money. Right. It makes perfect sense.
Completely.
But they are refusing to share any of that data. Maybe you know this. I don't.
I know nothing.
Did they say that they don't have the data, or that they are not willing to share it?
They don't share it.
Okay. Because I know they have it, because when
they do.
Stop watching a show at minute 23 in March and I go back and start to watch that show again in November, it says, would you like to resume? So it knows exactly how much I've watched, how many times I've watched it. It knows all that stuff. They have all the data. They just won't share it. And because they don't want to pay people, because their model doesn't work, because they're giving people millions of dollars of content for $14 a month or whatever.
Right.
Now, Netflix is actually going to go to an ad-based. They're saying that that's what they're going to do. And they're doing that because the thing that they introduced doesn't work financially for anybody.
Doesn't work. Right.
But I think it's interesting. And what I've heard now that I've been listening to some more things is apparently Netflix, Apple, and Amazon are all holding everybody else hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have a totally different business model, specifically Amazon and Apple, who rely, and Disney a little bit, because they rely on all these other things, right? Amazon sold me my light up feather boa that I'm going to wear for the Taylor Swift concert.
Yep. And then you're going to shake it off. Mm-hmm.
And I'll shake it off. Yeah. And then Apple, I hear, has something to do with computers.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not into all that.
No. I like to keep it simple. But so they have all this other money. So they're a little bit like, well, why should we pay the workers? It's like a total tech company idea, right?
Yeah.
They're like, this isn't how we do business and create. And so anyway, everybody's on strike, but I think people feel pretty good about it. Like they're not excited to be on strike, but.
No, of course not. And the ripple effect that's heartbreaking is, not just industry people, all the crew, behind the scenes, all those people are out of work.
Yeah.
But so therefore those people aren't going to get their lunches at nearby restaurants, and they're not able to go get haircuts at their hairdressers, right? I mean, everybody is suffering.
Yeah.
Our town is dependent on the industry, our Los Angeles. So it's such a Republican mentality. If we have Republican listeners, you can stop the podcast. That's fine. Unless it affects me, what do I care? That's what the Republican way is. And these CEOs are like, this is fantastic. I'm paying unlivable wages to everybody, and I have all my yachts. Why
Yeah.
would I change this?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also a capitalist. I mean, it's capitalism thing, right? It's like that. And, I heard an interesting thing. I think it was Jason. Is it Blum or Bloom? I never remember. Blumhouse? Blumhouse? Blumhouse?
Blumhouse. Yeah.
Blumhouse. He's a cool guy because he's very artist friendly. And he, way back in the day when it was very unpopular, started this model where he was like, listen, I'm just not going to pay you $1 bazillion up front. And I'm not going to do that. But I will give you a really nice chunk of the back end. So in success, since I'm the one taking all of the financial risk, should we reap financial reward, you will share in that. And that has been his business model from day one. He's very artist friendly. He's very emotional about it. But he was talking about this idea of the CEOs getting too much money. But he's like, but if you talk about the CEOs, you have to also include Shonda Rhimes and Ryan Murphy and all of the celebrities that are getting, $1 million an episode, which that money is then not going into the pockets of crew and they have to cut corners somewhere else. It's like leveraging power to suck as much money out of it as possible, not leaving money for people who don't have as much power.
Right. I mean, in my beautiful communist vision, we all work under favored nations contracts, meaning everybody gets the same, right? Tom Hanks makes the same as the guy playing waiter, a day rate. And may it be a generous day rate, and then there would be residuals and back end, that's never going to happen. But
no,
something more equitable needs to happen.
Well, and I think there is a certain, if you are very successful, then your pay should reflect that. I mean, even what they're talking about with saying, hey, if you have a big fat hit on Netflix, then you got to pay people. And they're just not keeping up with. They do it every time. They did it with DVDs and they did it with cable.
Because they didn't know there was going to be any change come in.
Yeah. This is a new technology and you're going to break it if you try to make us pay you for it. And we don't even know if anyone's going to watch, blah, blah, blah.
Right. It's all shady and cruel. Somebody was quoted as saying, well, when the writers can't feed their families, they'll cave. When they have to move out of their apartments and their houses, they'll cave. Yeah. Yeah. It's despicable.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. It's also funny because, I admire writers and actors. I don't know if you felt this way when you first joined the guild, right? But I was always like, you guys, we're lucky to just be here. I was always kind of like, they're going to let me act. They're going to let me write,
Of course.
And then I remember I got a commercial or something that ran, and I had a couple commercials, and it was the first time I ever qualified for health insurance. And when they sent it to me, I think I was 25 years old, 26. And I was like, I never even thought about getting health insurance. Do I need it? It was not, I certainly wasn't going to go look for it and pay for it. I just didn't have it. Because why would I spend money on that when I have to network and drink beer till 3 a.m? Do you see the dilemma I was in? Who could afford health
drinking beer
insurance?
till 3 a.m. might mean you would want health insurance, but
I was invisible.
A lot of injuries.
Invincible. Oops.
Invincible. Yeah.
I was never dying back then. Now, we'll see.
Right.
But I was so impressed, and it has not been lost on me that you go oh my God, me as an actor, I never would have thought about health insurance or having a pension, making this an actual living and not just a hobby, and the difference between that. And I love that there are people that feel so powerful in their creativity and in how they contribute that they've actually decided to put a value on it and band together and go, no, this does have value. We've all built this industry together and we need to be a team and not enemies. And
this is a very particular industry where people can just use and abuse you. And, if you were trying to be a lawyer, no one would say, well, you can practice law, but we're not going to pay you. But this industry is notorious for I'm making a short film. I'm not going to pay anybody. Yeah. And actors think, well, I need to be I need to do this. I need the experience. I need the contacts. I need the work. and it's just no other industry would ask you to self-sacrifice the way this industry does. And it's gross. And now, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because it'll give me anxiety and my Xanax is in the house, not in my studio. But then there's also the issue of AI. And I don't want to get in a big discussion, but essentially these monsters at the top are saying, well, we don't even really need writers or actors because we can AI everything now. Yeah. And it just takes all the humanity out of art.
Yes.
Making film and TV should be art. It was designed to entertain and enlighten and bring communities together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting the parallel right now between the fight for democracy, right? Again, apologies to our Republican listener. Probably only one, right?
I think we know who.
But the idea that right now we are in a fight for like, well, what does democracy mean? Does it mean that you get to go out and even when you know the election results went one way, go back and say, no, those were false. And I want you to find me more votes where there are none. And I want you to jigger the system so that I can win and continue as president, right?
The answer is yes to all of that.
Well, right. That's the thing where you go like, now the question has been put on the table. It's the same thing with like, okay, so AI exists. It's not going anywhere. Right now, the technology is not able to do that. So this really is, it's getting there though. And it will get there rapidly.
We have to be forward thinking. Yes.
So the question is, can we all think ethically and responsibly, right? Like, I actually think it's okay for people to make millions and millions of dollars, right? But I what I'm curious about is like, well, they're not asking, writers are not all asking for millions of dollars. They're asking for things that are reflective of their success. And actors are as well. We weren't all sitting around complaining about everything. We haven't, doubled and tripled our salaries. We're asking for things that are logical and match inflation and match the new landscape and certain, we're asking them to make promises about being ethical, which is everything a contract is. And it's all pro-industry too. I mean, that's unique, I guess, when I compare it to democracy, right? We have an industry that was torn down by a very specific kind of greed, a very specific, I'm going to tear this industry apart in the name of making money. Right. And there are people, if the people who were fans of the old model band together and go, we need to rebuild something that's a healthy ecosystem where the advertisers pay for the television, which gets to the people, which pays the advertisers, which pays for the television, which gets to the people.
She's making circles with her finger as she's talking, and now I'm getting dizzy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do jazz hands to mellow you out, to even you out. And a pot of bouquet.
Build me back up.
So anyway.
You're right. Of course, you're right. We just need to fight the fight and stick together and support the strike. Yes. And therefore, you and I, as the Mandcave comes back from our summer hiatus, we will not be discussing struck work. We will not be discussing film and TV. Yeah. But we've got lots of other fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Lined up.
Podcasts and audiobooks and... we could even do
t-shirt contests. There are no limits.
Live events. Totally. I think we should probably finally review your OnlyFans channel. I don't think we've talked about that. Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe for the sake of the podcast, you should pick one of your children to stay home tonight and I'll go see Taylor Swift with you so that you and I can debate and discuss.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I'll run it by them.
Suck it, Delilah.
Yeah.
Now Delilah's gonna hear this and do a video of her mouthing me saying suck it, Delilah.
Yeah, if you haven't been on the Discord and checked that out, although that might be a Fandy only,
Oh, it might be.
Mandcave.com/Fandy.
Because we we put fun stuff up on our Discord and we interact with our Fandies in a private Discord channel. And if you can afford $5 a month, that gets you bonus content. You get our pre-show. Please join us on mandcave.com/Fandy.
And by the way, per our conversation earlier, we are striking right now. So make it $10 a month. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think that's
especially
especially
if you're in one of those industries where you do get paid for the work you do. Give it over. Right. We're here for you.
Well, who's not on strike is our brilliant engineer and producer, Pete Wright.
Yes.
Or our brilliant provider of music, Ian Post.
Yes.
Pete, by the way, is so annoyed with us right now because he's like, what are they doing? They didn't give me a clean intro into the business. But you know what, Pete? We got to keep you on your toes.
And this is like a pre-episode. You know what I mean? This is like a speed dating episode.
Right.
Our next episode, we just wanted to talk to people about like the strike because we are so knowledgeable. And now we have reached the end of our knowledge.
Exactly.
And the next episode, we're going to talk about a fabulous audiobook, yeah?
Yeah. But can we play our brief game first?
Oh, Jesus. She came with a game. This is why I love this woman, okay? Not just when she agrees with me. It's when she thinks ahead and made a game for me, even in our tiny mini episode. Let's do it.
I'm putting on my matching reading glasses. You and I are now wearing matching reading glasses.
We are so in sync. This season might be about us agreeing. I don't even know.
Ew. Thank you to our number one fandy, Megan, for sending an article with the best picket signs from the writer's strike.
Yes.
So, do you remember the old match game? You don't? Oh,
I mean,
okay.
If you tell me.
In the 70s, Gene Rayburn would hold one of those skinny microphones, and he would be like, the cook said, oops, my blank fell into the soup. And then this music would play. Wow,
that's great. Very catchy.
And then 6 celebrities, mostly just Charles Nelson Riley and Nipsey Russell, God rest their souls, would answer the question, and it was always full of innuendo.
Sure,
you know, my bra, my boob fell in the soup.
Ouch.
Like, it was always, I know.
Yeah.
It's a gazpacho.
It's
Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, you and I are going to play a little match game. I'm going to leave something out of these signs. You're going to see if you can match what's in the sign.
Great.
I'm guessing you will get 0 out of a few. Here we go. Because why would you know this? Okay. Without writers, blank will have nothing to punch up. So this was some actor came out and claimed that they were punching up all their scripts, and it made the headlines.
Channing Tatum.
No. But when you started to say it, I was like, she's going to get this. It was Jenna Ortega, who I very much like.
Oh, I love her.
And she got in big old trouble saying,
I punch up my scripts. Oh, dear. Yeah. That's punching up below the belt.
This one is designed especially for you, Mandy Fabian. Are you ready?
Yee!
It says, pay your writers or we'll spoil blank.
The ending of Succession.
Yes!
Yes!
Yay! Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of Disney, somebody had a sign that said the blankiest place on earth.
The cheapiest? The frugaliest? The shittiest?
It's greediest.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Although I stand by my Disneyland experience. It was expensive, but it was worth it.
But they're an evil empire. Anyway.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So this one, I'll give you double just for fun.
Okay.
The CEOs have blank. Writers have blank.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I mentioned what the CEOs have when we were talking before. There you go.
The CEOs have yachts. I was going to say that the writers have Yamama. Nope. Yazaz. No, have scripts. Have mortgages.
Yes. Mandy, yes. It's the writers have mortgages. CEOs have yachts.
Although I thought Yazaz would have been a close second. Yeah.
I don't know what the heck that was. Okay. And then here's the last one. It is a Seinfeld reference. Writers holding up a sign that says, no blank for you.
No soup for you? No scripts for you?
There you go. See, you could be a clever
I could be a
WGA
clever
sign writer.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm gonna think on that. I saw a good one on the acting on the SAG line that said, name your favorite movie without actors.
Mhm.
Which I thought, boy, that packed a wallop. You know what I mean?
Anything with Megan Fox would be my answer.
Oh, I can't follow that. That was great. Thank you for my game.
Thank you, Megan. Megan
Yes.
Isser, thank you. Okay, so we are listening to a audiobook.
Yep.
And we will record our episode next week. So by the time people hear this, they will still have a week to listen. It's confusing, but it's a short, fun book. It's the new Curtis Sittenfeld, who I love. She wrote Prep, which is what got her famous. And then my favorite is American Wife, which
my gosh.
is not based on Laura Bush's life at all. It has nothing to do with Laura Bush. It is purely a work of fiction.
Was Curtis ever a writer in this genre? We could talk about it. We'll talk about it on the podcast. We'll discuss Curtis and all of her glory.
She's
Next
amazing. This one's called Romantic Comedy or Romantic.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I don't know about the dick part, but in that vein, gross, I did actually think that Curtis was a man. So you've enlightened me in so many ways today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you. And I'll see you next week for
the
our
Man
real
and Back. Yeah, our real
Mandcave
kickoff.
Season 5 launch.
Hell yeah. We love you.
Beep, 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 beep.
So official.